Good morning, everyone. Hope you are all having a wonderful Friday. Big plans this weekend. I don't know about all of you, but I am not wanting to go anywhere at all for the rest of the few weeks of summer. So today we're going to be talking about how to build $200,000 in business credit without a personal guarantee or personal credit check. And if that sounds like lunacy to you, I invite you to hang out and stick around because I'm going to talk about how to do just exactly that and what it takes. So business credit is one of those things that I think has a lot of myths around it. It's one of those things that I hear all kinds of nonsense around what's allowed and what's not and what's true and what's not. It is fraught with rumors. So if you've heard rumors about business credit, you're unsure, you've tried to get business credit before and you've been declined, I invite you to stick around because I'm going to go through all of that crazy stuff that I'm going to clear up the rumor mill, let's say. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clear up the rumor mill. So this is let me show you my screen. This is the fund your dreams and grow your business without maxing your personal credit cards, leveraging your house, giving up your favorite kid. Maybe you don't have a favorite kid, or giving up your favorite kid regardless of your personal credit score. I don't know, maybe you don't have a favorite kid. Maybe you have one you're willing to get rid of. We're not going to really talk about that, but hang with me. In the next 60 minutes, you're going to learn the inner workings of credit that corporations leverage and use to grow their businesses so that you can use credit to grow your business without risking everything you built and finally get those dreams launched. Come on, slide. This is for you if you don't want to max out your personal cards, or maybe you already have. You don't want to ask your friends and family for a loan. You don't want to put up your house for collateral, or if no one is willing to take that kid off your hands for a nice price. This is for you if you have an existing business. This is for you if you want to start a business. This is for you if you have a business and no revenue. I'm going to talk about all the ways that business credit works for all of those situations. This is for you if you don't want to use your house or your retirement to fund your current business, but you want to have a bigger impact in the world and you need some capital. Quick room check. Hell yes. Does this sound good? Hell no. Are you drinking wine? Nick says, hell yes. I'm broadcasting this in a couple places. So if you can't see the comments, it's because it's somewhere else. Nick says, hell yes. Jennifer says she's not ready to drink wine yet. It's only 10 o'clock on Pacific time, but I'm not judging you. I don't know what time zone you're in. Maybe you're living in another one. So hell yes or hell no. You're an ambitious entrepreneur and you want to grow your business. You're struggling with floating all the costs. You don't have a ton of personal cash to invest and you don't want to sell your favorite or least favorite kid, and you're not Kris Jenner. You want to create a business that sustains and nourishes you. We all do. And we're facing uncertain times. So I'm going to tailor this to talk about COVID because things have changed a little bit. But the interesting thing that I think that we are not aware of is that there are all kinds of businesses that were started in crises or recessions or downturns of economy. FedEx, UPS, Microsoft, LinkedIn, all these kinds of businesses that are still around today that were started when things were falling apart. Who am I and why should you listen to me? My program has helped thousands of people build business credit and get loans and lines of credit to grow their business. I went to the Bainbridge Graduate Institute for an MBA in sustainable business. I call it my hippie MBA. I put everything on the line for a family business that spectacularly failed in the wake of 2008 crash, and I have learned the hard way so that you don't have to. I'm an ENFP, a Ravenclaw, and my F score is Innovator, which was formerly called Rebellious, but I still feel rebellious. What are we trying to achieve here? how you can create $150,000 to $200,000 in business credit in 12 months, regardless of your personal credit, how you can obtain loans and lines of credit, even if you don't have an existing business or cash flow. You'll start to feel well-resourced, even if you have the money to grow. You have the money to grow and fund your dreams. And you want to be recognized as the person to call in your field, whether it's a voiceover, your Etsy shop, or your real estate projects. Why is this so important to you now? 20% of businesses fail in their first year, Bureau of Labor Statistics. 50% of businesses fail by their fifth year. 82% of businesses fail because of cash flow problems, not because they didn't have a good product, not because they didn't have a great idea, not because any of those things related to your market, but just how you get to your market. 27% of businesses surveyed by the SBA claim that they weren't able to receive the funding that they need, which I find very ironic, SBA, because they are not the easiest place to get money. They are like way down the line on where I think are the easiest places to get money. So here's my promise to you. I know you all watch a lot of bullshit webinars. I do too. You'll actually learn what it takes to get business credit with minimal risk and what's available to you. There's no fake secrets that aren't actually secrets. I'm giving you specific tactics to get business credit, no personal credit check or personal guarantee. And I have an offer at the end, but I'll promise you'll learn something to make it worth your while and whether you join my program or not. If you stay the whole webinar, you'll get my Build Your Business Credit Quick Start Guide. And just so we're all on the same page, there's lots of credit when we talk about credit. So there's personal credit. This is what you get your mortgages with. Your personal car loans, that kind of stuff. This is when you look at your FICO score or your Vantage score. There's also business credit with a personal guarantee. And that is like a Chase Ink card or a Capital One Spark card. Those are examples. Some American Expresses. Those are ones that they might have your business name on them and then maybe your name on them as an authorized user. But you sign for them with your personal guarantee. If everything falls apart, if the world falls apart and it all goes to hell, they're going to come after you personally. We're going to talk a lot today about business credit with no personal guarantee, which is sometimes called corporate credit. And this is where your business is its own separate living, breathing entity, separate from you, not living or not breathing, but you get my drift. And it can access lines of credit with the business EIN in the same way that us humans can access credit with our social security number. The difference is with business credit, compared to personal credit, you probably get, depending on the vendor, depending on the lender, you probably get 5 to 100 times the credit that you normally would. So if you could go get a Home Depot card for $5,000, you might be able to get with properly structured business credit, you get a Home Depot card for $50,000. A personal guarantee, just some terms so we're on the same page, means that you are personally liable. The judgment can be against you personally. No personal guarantee means the business could declare bankruptcy, and if you didn't sign for anything personally, it has no impact on your personal credit score. Now, some people are really confident in their business and they know their product, they know they want money, and they're willing to give their personal guarantee. And you can accelerate your results and you can get $50,000 to $250,000 in a matter of weeks. We call this credit card stacking or unsecured business lines of credit. There's several ways to do this. But I just want to make sure that we're all talking about the same thing because these terms and definitions are really important. A lot of small businesses have never heard of business credit. So let's talk about the myths of business loans and business credit. I hear these things. These are things that I've heard over the years. You need good personal credit. You need to have a cosigner if you don't have perfect personal credit. You can't get loans and lines of credit without a personal guarantee. You have to use your house as collateral, which is 97% true if you go through the SBA. They're like, let me lien that. Credit without a personal guarantee is illegal or just for big corporations. I hear this all the time. I hear things like, it's illegal to not get credit without a personal guarantee. It's illegal to just have the business sign for it. Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos are not giving their personal guarantee when they They're not giving their personal guarantee when Amazon needs new office furniture. They're not giving their personal guarantee when Microsoft needs to buy $100,000 worth of computers. These are extreme examples, but they all started in one particular place. These are the kind of accounts that you can get. So you can get, there's a couple of phases, but you can get, in the early rounds, you can get Home Depot cards, Office Depot, Staples, Lowe's, Home Depot. And then as you build, you can get different kinds. You can get Visa, Mastercard, that kind of stuff with no personal guarantee. Just so you have some examples, you can also get funding for your business with a personal guarantee. You can get, this particular person had a projected funding range of $50,000 to $100,000. It's interesting to see how things have changed with COVID. It's some weird days, because my guess is this person could probably get, my guess is he could probably get $200,000 right now. There are definitely some vendors and lines of credit where things have gotten tighter, and there are some where they're throwing money all the time. I've got a guy that emails me every 2 weeks and is like, hey, do you have anything? I've got these investors, they want to give out their money. And he's got terms I don't particularly like, but that kind of stuff is available and for really low interest rates. So this kind of stuff is for people who are really confident in their business or they're willing to give their personal guarantee. But there's a whole other world. And I always think that everybody should have their business credit built out. And I'll tell you why. I don't remember which slide this is in, so I'm just going to tell you. I guess I'll talk about it on this slide. So one of the tricky wickets about business credit is that you can, there's like, with personal credit, there's three main bureaus. There's TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. Okay. With business credit, there's kind of three main bureaus: Dun & Bradstreet, Experian, Smart Business, and Equifax. But then there's probably 100 or sort of to unlimited number of other business credit bureaus. And unlike personal credit, no one has to have your personal permission to pull your business credit. So with personal credit, no one can pull it unless you authorize them. With business credit, anyone can look. Your vendors, your lenders, the SBA, potential suppliers can all see your business credit. I know for EIDL, if you're familiar with that emergency disaster loan program from the SBA that's going on right now for COVID, they're looking at personal credit scores, but they also want to make sure that they can find your business on the internet. And there's a lot of people struggling because they're a sole proprietorship, or they don't have anything publicly available on Google or whatever search engine your underwriter's using to find them. And it's causing major red flags, huge delays in underwriting. So what I'm going to talk about here takes care of some of those things. It's like the boring housekeeping stuff that sort of has to be done to accelerate instant and easy approvals. So all of this is possible. These clean approvals, these cards without a personal guarantee, these lines of credit, but you have to have properly structured business credit. And there's all kinds of pitfalls on created business credit. So some examples: you have to have the right kind of entity. You must have an LLC or a corporation. A sole proprietorship cannot build business credit separate from the person because it's a sole proprietorship, because it's attached to your social security number, right? Even if you have an EIN for your sole proprietorship, it's still attached to your social security number. You're not a legal separate entity. You have to have the right kind of address. This is maddening. If you're a brick and mortar, this is like no big deal. I've got this handled. If you are a virtual business, if you're an online business, if you are living in Bali and working out of the States with stateside clients, you can't use a home address. You can't use a UPS. You can't use a PO box. You have to have the right kind of phone number. You can't use Google Voice, and you have to have the right kind of industry code. So this works. I get these questions all the time. This works for businesses that are considered high risk. High risk would be Construction, trucking, over-the-road hauling are sometimes considered high risk. Online businesses, there's a lot of underwriters who are like, what is that? You don't have a permanent address. You're on the internet. I don't get it. So you have to have the right kind of industry code that classifies you. So if you have multiple aspects of your business, let's say you're an online business, you want to sign up with an SIC code or an industry code that indicates that you're a consultant. So I'm a consulting in education. I'm not business credit, because talking about credit on the internet, even if I don't offer credit, even if I'm not underwriting, it's all these red flags. So you want to pick the lowest risk available to you that has integrity. This particular person got almost $1 million in business credit. One of the biggest surprises was when we got an Apple approver for $12,500, and the guy that approved that limit said was much higher than they normally give, and he said we must have done something right. So if you want to finance an iPhone, you want to finance a pile of Mac computers, that is all available through business credit. This is another one, got approved for an Amazon corporate card for $6,000, no personal guarantee. At first, I thought corporate credit was for Fortune 500 companies, and I decided to take a leap of faith with this whole business credit model. And in 6 months, my business was approved for a $6,000 line of credit with Amazon without a personal guarantee or credit check, 10 trade lines, and still going strong. Amazon is one of those ones that's really tricky, and things keep changing all the time. Everybody wants an Amazon card. I don't blame you. I have a couple. And it's one of those things where you can sort of hybrid this. So let's say you're early in business building, and you're like, oh, I really want this Amazon card, but they want a personal guarantee. You can give your personal guarantee for one card and be selective about it. Maybe you say yes to Amazon and Costco. We're going to talk about another one. Citibank doesn't do Costco credit cards without a personal guarantee. You can selectively get it. And in the case of Amazon, you could build it up, wait a couple years, build up the rest of your business credit, and then you could close the Amazon card with your personal guarantee and get another one without your personal guarantee. Some pro tips, if you ever were going to go bankrupt in your business, you'd want to pay off the cards that have your personal guarantee first and let the ones that don't be the ones that fall. And if you go bankrupt with business credit and you haven't signed for it with a personal guarantee, they can't come after you at all. I mean, I suppose you could get the random, somebody could try, but most of them won't, because they understand how this is structured. An example of the hybrid that I talked about, where you've got business credit cards, you have properly structured business credit. This is someone who got a $22,000 Chase Ink card. This has a personal guarantee, but it's in the business credit, and it's much higher because they had properly structured business credit. Key watch outs. Anyone telling you your only option is to use your house as collateral. Your well-meaning bookkeeper might tell you credit without a personal guarantee is illegal. I've heard this. I can't tell you how many times. You must personally sign for cards, even if you don't mean to. You might have credit cards report to your personal credit report and ruin your ability to get a mortgage. So some of these cards, like the Chase Ink and the Capital One Spark card, they may or may not report to your personal credit, but they always report to your personal credit if you default on them. The other thing about personal credit is if you use your personal credit for your business, which it was never meant to be, and you run your personal credit up, you can wind up jeopardizing your ability to get a mortgage. So personal credit cards were never designed to be used for business. With personal credit cards, you have, there's like 5 factors from FICO that go into your business credit. With business credit, there's one factor, and it's how you pay your bills. They don't care if you max them out, if you pay them off. They don't care if you have a mix of different cards like they do with personal credit. They don't care if your balances are high, if you're paying them off. In fact, high balances when you have business credit makes a huge, huge difference because it shows that you can pay your bills. You may not be able to find accurate information about which cards report and help your credit and which ones don't, but you might want them anyway. Like an American Express card isn't going to go on your business credit report you still might want it anyway because there's a lot of benefits to that card. So those are some key things to watch out. So I've developed a system that gets $50K in business credit in 6 months and $150 to 212 months without a personal guarantee or personal credit check, so that you have the resources to fund your business, even if you don't have good personal credit or business cash flow. If you do have good personal credit, collateral cash flow, we can help you leverage it the amount that you would for 5 to, I guess my face is blocking this, 5 to 100 times. Let me see if I can hide my face. Nope, not gonna let me. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah. Nope. Okay, sorry, I got fancy there. I got way too fancy. Remove. Oh, there you go. If you have good personal credit, collateral cash flow, we can help you leverage it to a 5 to 100 times the amount that you could get with personal channels. So what that means is, I talked about this earlier with the Home Depot card, where you could get, maybe you could walk in and get a $5,000 Home Depot card. If you do it through properly structured business credit, you could wind up with $50,000 on a Home Depot card. That is the incredible power of business credit. So how do you build your business credit? Nope, that's the end. How do you build your business credit? Let me go back to my face. Okay, how do you build your business credit? You build your business credibility. This is not the sexiest or the most exciting thing, but I'll tell you, everybody that comes through my courses or works with me and they're like, oh God, I wish I would have done this sooner. It's one of those things that people aren't super motivated to do it until they need it. And when they need it, it can take some time, especially if you have an existing entity. Like I said earlier, one of the trickiest things is the address. It can take a while to change your address. Before COVID, it took 4 to 6 weeks to change your address with the IRS. Now we have no idea how long it takes because the IRS isn't saying, because they're, partially back to work, trying to do all these rotations. So how do you build your business credit? First of all, you build your business credibility. You control the narrative of what is being said about you on the internet. Then you establish your business credit reports. You start building with your tier 1 vendors. Your tier 1 vendors are vendors that will give anybody credit. Then you monitor your business credit reports, see what shows up. Once you know what's on your business credit report, then you go to your tier 2 vendors, the ones that we know that, so-and-so says that if you have 10 trade lines reporting, you can apply for their card. That's that kind of thing. And then you do advanced stuff and revolving accounts. Advanced stuff is like, I think I want that American Express card. I know it doesn't report to my business credit. It's not going to help me build business credit, but that's the one that I really want because I want the perks. Those are those kinds of things. Come on. When we talk about business credibility, this is your name, your business name. So you can't have what's a good example of having your name? You can't have, let's say that you don't want to have it in your personal name unless you're actually incorporated, then you could have it. So that would be an example. But people get crazy, stupid creative with their names, and sometimes they don't look like they're very credible. So when I talk about credibility, I want you to think about an underwriter who is going to extend credit to your business, and they are 20 to 30 years older than you, and they are very untech savvy. That's how I like to think about all my underwriters. So I want it to be as easy as possible for them. So you want to have your business address. Like I said earlier, you can't have a PO box. You can't have a UPS store. You have to have the right kind of business entity. You have to have an LLC or a corporation. You have to have a business EIN. Your EIN is like, you get it from the IRS, and it is the equivalent of your social security number in the credit world. You have to have a business phone and a 411 listing. So you can't use a Google Voice. You have to have a business type phone number that's available to be listed with 411. You have to have a website, and you have to have an email. You can't use something like Gemini Boy Loves Beer at AOL.com because an underwriter is going to look at that and be like, If you're in an industry that requires a business license, you have to have your business license. You have to have a business bank account. So there's lots of vendors that they don't consider you in business until you actually have a business bank account. So if you started an LLC 10 years ago, but you never opened a bank account, that's going to show up in your business credit reports. And that is going to impact when they see that data. A lot of them will be like, nope, didn't start that business until you got a business bank account. You might need a merchant account, a way to take credit cards. Some industries don't need this and some industries do. There's also a lot of minor details that can have major impact. Then you establish your business credit reports. This is Dun & Bradstreet, Business Experian and Business Equifax, different from Personal Experian and different from Business Equifax. Business Equifax is sort of, I don't know, shit the bed is a good way to put it. After their big data breach on the personal side, they've stopped generating business credit scores, but some vendors and lenders still look at them. Some underwriters will still look there. The other thing you have to do is you have to fix any negative accounts. So one of the crazy, crazy things that I see is like old unpaid parking tickets being somehow tied to personal credit applications. It's so creepy how much some of these industries know about you. So you got to fix anything that's negative, from old unpaid parking tickets that are 20 years old to something negative that might have showed up on your business credit. And then you start building tier one. So you get established with vendors that'll give anyone an account so you can start establishing your report. So some of these you might, let me give you an example with this. So let's say you need office supplies. Everybody needs office supplies, right? Let's say you need a shredder. Normally you'd think, let me go on Amazon and order that shredder because that's how I always do it. When you're building business credit, what you might do is make an order from a vendor that we know that will give anybody credit. They might make you pay a couple times, but eventually they'll give you what's called a net 30, which is where you get 30 days to pay. Oh, let me turn my alarm off. And they'll give anyone an account. So maybe you turn around and you order that shredder from this other vendor that you wouldn't normally order from, but that helps you build business credit. That's an example of those tier one vendors. Almost all of them are ones that there's probably, I don't know, 10 or 15, changes all the time, ones that actually report to the credit bureaus. And some of them are going to report to Dun & Bradstreet. Some of them are going to report to Experian. Some of them are going to report to Equifax, all of them. And all these vendors have stuff that you can use. So you don't necessarily have to get all 15 vendors if it doesn't fit your industry. Like there's probably more that apply for people that are in the construction business than people who have static offices, just the way that it is. And if you have an office and you don't need construction accounts, you don't have to fudge anything and apply there. That's the really nice thing. And then you monitor your business credit reports. So this is Dun & Bradstreet's normally $150 a month. Experian Business is $50 a month and Equifax is $20 a month. And if you stay to the end, I'll show you I can get all 50 of them all of them for $50 a month. And then you get tier two accounts. This is cards like Staples and Amazon. So these are cards that you can only use at that particular store. That's what tier two accounts generally are. And then build three accounts is generally accounts like Home Depot that require you to have more trade lines showing. And then tier four is where it gets really exciting. So this is Visa and Mastercard that you can use anywhere. It might be, they might be branded a certain way. Like they might have, it might be branded with a big gas company on it, but you can use those Visa and Mastercards anywhere. And you can extract the cash for less than 3% if you need. So let's say you have $100,000 in Visa and Mastercard. You can extract that cash for less than $3,000 if you needed actual cash versus needing just being able to swipe your card. So maybe you have a landlord that doesn't take credit cards. That's an example of where you might need the cash. You can also get auto financing from Ford and Ally Financial. With Ally, you can walk in almost anywhere and get commercial financing. So this works if you've got a trucking company. It works if you want to, if you're in a market where Amazon is doing delivery and you want to buy 15 vans. But you know what it also works for? Technically works for if you want to start a YouTube channel and buy an RV with Ford Auto financing. You could buy let's say you could buy the truck. Let's say you need a $60,000 to $85,000 truck. Don't ask me how I know this because you'll figure it out. You could get that financing through Ford, and then I don't know if Ally is doing RV financing right now, but you could finance the RV through your personal credit and not have both of those on your personal credit, especially if your personal credit doesn't support those kinds of things. You can get the cheaper rate on the business side, which is very exciting. And then advanced building is cards that don't report, like American Express. I don't know why they don't report. If you're listening, American Express, start reporting, please. And then cards that require personal guarantee, like Costco. Some people don't care. And they're like, I want that card. I don't care that it requires the personal guarantee. I don't care that it doesn't report. I want the benefits. That is absolutely possible. So you don't have to wait years for this. It's possible to get this kind of credit and launch your business without spending years applying for accounts that you don't qualify for or ruining your personal credit. So with personal credit, every time you apply for a new account, you get that new inquiry on your score. Now, I had someone from FICO tell me that that's only 5 points. And normally, just on the personal credit side, normally if you apply for an account and it costs you 5 points on your score, normally when you get that new account posting 30 to 45 days later, it helps your score, but not always, especially if you don't qualify. So you can go around and do all these applications and keep dinging your personal credit. I see this all the time, or used to see this all the time. People applying for a mortgage brokers, they're right on the verge of having their score high enough, and their mortgage brokers dinging their credit every 30 days, going down 5 points, going down 5 points. With business credit, that does not matter. If you could apply for, why apply if you don't qualify? But if you qualified for 10 accounts and you applied for all of them, it doesn't impact your score. So Brian says, I was able to obtain $50,000 in a matter of 3 to 4 months. I want to let everyone know that, hey, this is a very great product. I received great service and was able to get $50,000 in 3 to 4 months. This is someone who had his ducks in a row and was very motivated. So this is absolutely possible, but he is someone who was motivated and had his correct addresses and didn't mess around. I've had people mess around with the address situation. I'm not even kidding, for, 6 months and never got a dang thing done. Oh, where's my volume? I don't know if you guys can't hear that. That's very low for me. Maybe that's my speakers.
This is a very great product. This is credit, funding speed. I receive great service. This is credit coach, as well as my consultant, who walk me through all the funding that my business could get approved for. Awesome product. I was able to obtain my 50K in a matter of 3 to 4 months, and I'm pretty sure that I am going to be sending many clients your way for helping me with the money that I need for my business with business credit speed and funding speed. Thank you very much.
I love this story because this is someone who was a bank lender, and she says, I can get even more money than I could never get before. So she was a bank lender in the past, thought I knew all about the financing and funding options available. She even went through the bank loan process when she got ready to purchase an existing business, and she found out the process was so tedious. The paperwork is extensive, and it took months to complete the whole process. She's very excited when she learned about the process of building business credit, where she can get more money than ever before. I'm going to play this, and I am going to go run really quick and grab something to drink because my silly self did not do that. I'll be right back while Cheryl tells you her story. Guys, will you let me know in the comments if you could hear that? I realized that was really quiet, and I don't know if that's just because I have had my volume low, because if I don't have my volume low, then I get all this feedback. I'm not going to go through another one, but this thing really works. I could not recommend it more. So fascinating stuff, yes. Let me ask you this. If there was a way to build your own business credit and not have to do it all by yourself for instant use in your business and have it ready and done in as little as 3 months, would you take it? Because now you can. What if I told you that there was a breathtakingly easy way to build your business credit? You won't even have to leverage your house, your 401k, or use your personal credit. You don't even need to be a millionaire to tap into this kind of money. And all it takes is to get $150,000 in credit, is to have a little faith and do a little bit of work. For those of the faith and take the leap, they're rewarded with business credit that works for you. I want the same benefits for you. I want you to have the funding and flexibility to grow your business, and I want you to be able to sleep at night. Some of you know my full story, some of you don't. But when I was 27, my dad called me from the hospital and said that he had taken out a $2 million loan on a piece of property that had been in our family for almost 100 years. And I tried everything I could do to get that thing refinanced. It was just after 2008. This was the summer of 2008. The market was crashing. Shit was in a free fall. I met with investment bankers. I worked with CPAs. I worked with the top attorneys started out in Spokane and then in the whole state of Washington, trying to find a solution. I even wrote letters. I tried to get on Ellen. I wrote letters to Brad Pitt because he had a green real estate thing going on in New Orleans. And I was like, let's do this green thing. And in the end, we lost that property. And it broke my heart in ways that I still struggle with. When I drive through Spokane, which is where I grew up and where the farm is, I'm like this looking past the exit. I don't want to see it. And I don't want that to happen to anyone else. All these people that I worked with, nobody ever told me about business credit. Nobody ever said, oh, hey, there's this whole other line of funding that you can access. My dad's personal credit score at the time was over 800. No one ever said to me, go out and build business credit. If we'd had business credit, when he first told me this, we had business credit. We had 7 or 8 LLCs, really weird tax planning from a CPA. And he had those payments on the loan were $20,000 a month, interest only. $20,000 a month. I would have built business credit in a bunch of LLCs, and you can do this for any number of businesses. I've had people that have built out 5 or 6 different businesses. Like they kind of stop at some time because they just have so much credit they don't even know what to do with it. And they build out all this credit, and then sometimes they sell those businesses. But I would have bankrupted. I would have extracted the cash, paid back that 1.8 million plus the 200,000. I would have extracted the cash to make up the 200,000, and I would have bankrupted all those businesses. That's what I would have done. I haven't ever told that to anyone publicly because I don't want you to go out with that intention. I have had people go out with that intention, and what they find is they just have so many resources, they don't need to bankrupt the business. Crazy. But if something hits the fan, if the economy crashes, you have that option and your personal house is not at risk. So introducing the Build Your Business Credit 21-day challenge. I lead you through all the first steps of building business credibility. And at the end of the challenge, give you the vendors to establish your business credit score. So we walk through all those steps, the phone number, the address, establishing your scores. One of the reasons that the address is so important is because Dun & Bradstreet builds credit based on what's called your DUNS number, but Equifax and Experian base it on your address. So if they can't find your address, if your address with the IRS is different than your address with your business license is different with the address for the Secretary of State, an underwriter looks at that and they're like, that's a mess. I'm not even going there. They don't even call you, and they don't ever have to tell you why you were declined. So if you have good personal credit, good cash flow, or good collateral, we can help you get funding in as little as 48 hours with one application. The guy that I shared earlier, that was, I think, a 48 hours turnaround time, maybe 72, because he needed to get some documents back, and he got $100,000 approval. All of this without leveraging your house, using your personal credit, or jeopardizing your ability to get a mortgage. That 50 to 150 to 200,000 that I'm talking about, that is all without a personal guarantee. Without spending years guessing on how to do this on your own in as little as 3 weeks. Even if you don't have great personal credit, even if you don't have good business cash flow, even if you're still testing your business idea, you have the flexibility to recover from mistakes and the resources to invest in support. So one of the things, like I get a lot of established businesses that come in and they want to build business credit. One of the things I love the most is when people are thinking about leaving their corporate job or thinking about starting a business. Maybe they're like, I'm going to start this after the new year. I've got this project, this other thing. And they build up their business credit in the meantime. And then they go to launch that other business. Maybe it's their dream business. Maybe it's a great new idea, and it self-funds itself. That's the best use I can think of business credit, because you don't have to have cash flow necessarily. Like, it seems impossible, right? You do have to have, when I say you don't have to have cash flow, your business does not have to have cash flow, but you have to have the money, especially in the early days, to be able to buy things on credit and pay them off really quickly. So when I was talking about those tier 1 vendors that'll give anyone credit, we get into how to maximize your credit, how to get the highest score the fastest. One of the things in the very beginning is you want to be able to pay those invoices off as soon as possible. Your score is all based on how you pay your bills. And in the very beginning, when you're just getting started, you want to pay it as quickly as you can. So some of those early vendors aren't going to they might not give you an account until you make an order. And then they might give you a net 30, which is where you have net 30 to pay your bill. What you want to do, as soon as you see that item ship and leave their facility, you want to pay that invoice as quickly as you can. So you don't want to pay it before. If you pay it before it leaves their warehouse, if you pay it before it's picked up by UPS, that's not going to work. That doesn't help build your business score, because they never actually extended you credit, right? The Build Your Business Credit Lab 21-day challenge is where I walk you through all these steps. So I'm maybe a little bit biased, but I obviously got bit in the ass not knowing about this. I think every business out there should build their business credit, should have these five. Even if you don't want to build $150,000, $200,000 in credit, I want everybody to know and have that option just in case. Because like in the example of the EIDL loan, it's supposed to be a disaster loan, right? And there's all these people that are having to go through all these different hoopla things with the SBA because they're going through all this rigmarole with the SBA because the SBA can't find their business. They can't find their business, or they got shady looking different addresses, all that kind of stuff. So this solves for that problem. I love this one. If you're a business owner, you need this program. The good thing about having a business credit profile is his wife is able to apply for funding without using her Social Security. You'll stop being liable for everything. You can have a business American Express, which is one of the absolute best cards you have. Like I said, the American Express is one of those ones that doesn't report to your business credit. It doesn't help you build business credit, but lots of people are like, I want that silver Amex because it'll get me to a black. It's easier. If some of you are like, yeah, I want an American Express Centurion card or the black card, it's easier to get there if you start out with the silver card. It's easier to get there. They call it their platinum. Sorry, not silver. It's easier to get there through your business because you're putting way more money on your business credit cards than you probably ever will on your personal, unless you're a sheik or an oil baron or something like that. So what's included in this 21 days? We are going to build your business credibility. You cannot proceed without it. This is all that nitpicky stuff about having the right kind of address, the right kind of telephone number. We're going to establish your business credit reports, and we're going to get you that $2,000 to $10,000 in credit. Sometimes I think there's rhyme and reason to this, and sometimes I think it's just random. I'll have two people with nearly identical profiles go and apply without a personal guarantee. And some of them will get a $2,000 credit card right away, and some of them won't. They'll get $2,000 total in this round. So there's a lot of different options, right? You also get your own personal coach to answer your questions and guide you. That's me in this particular thing. You can message me, you can tag me. I answer all the questions in the group. So this isn't even $10,000. It's not a DIY course you ever do. I do this live. I don't think I'm ever going to buy another do-it-yourself, not live thing in my life because I never do them. I'm sure if I have 1,000 of them stacked up that I haven't done, you probably haven't either. I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. And then I never do it. Good thing I'm not even charging $2,000 for this. I'm not even charging $500 for this. I'm giving you 10 times more value, more impact, and more results. I'm doing an early bird special. You can sign up now through August 31st, which is Monday. And after that, the price goes up to $99. We get started on Tuesday, September 8th. And this is what we're going to cover. We are going to get you, this is for you if you have an existing business. This is for you if you have a not existing business. This is for you if you've got an idea. It's for you if you're motivated to get one. We're going to cover your name, your business address, your entity type, your EIN, your phone number and your 411 listing, your website and email. Remember, no Gemini boy loves beer at gmail.com, AOL. Your business license, if you need one, business bank accounts, merchant accounts, all these minor details that have major impact. Like I said, this is all about building your credibility, right? So I am almost convinced, that there's some secret class at Harvard where they all talk about how to build business credit. And we never talked about it in my MBA program. We never talked about it in my business undergrad. No one knew what business credit was. They never talked about it, but they must somewhere, because these corporations have this like running out the back of their hands. It's like, it's so easy for them. And I want everybody to have access to that kind of corporate funding because it is so powerful. And I also think I hate this kind of fear and scarcity BS that goes on, but these times they are changing, and I don't know what's going to happen in a year. You are much more likely to, if you already have a good relationship with a vendor and things really go south, I'm talking like 2008 crash, which I don't think we've seen the extent of the crash yet because we still have like foreclosure and emergency and student loan payments or in forbearance, all that kind of stuff. We don't know what's going to happen. You're much more likely to, in that kind of scenario, there will be vendors, lenders, and creditors that pull back on how much they're offering. They might make you purchase things before they'll give you, they might used to, like a vendor might have given you credit if you had 10 credit lines with other companies, and now they're like, you need 15, that kind of stuff. They can also reduce how much they're extending to you. So one of the key things about building business credit, if you want to go fast, is you have to use it. So there are some vendors where it's a minimum $50 order. Fine. If $50 is all you can do to be able to pay that off really quickly, then you should do $50. If you can do 500, you should do 500, because everyone else that looks at your credit report when they go to extend you credit is going to be like, okay, 500, they pay that off reasonably all the time. $1,000 they're paying that off. Yeah, I'm going to give them $2,000. And then it goes from $2,000 to $10,000 to $50,000 is how that all works out. So would you agree that $99 is a tiny price to pay? It's almost insignificant for $5,000 to $10,000 in credit, and $67 is even better. We're going to go through all of these things. So one payment of $67, early bird pricing ends on August 31st, Monday night, and then it goes up to $99. And we're going to get started on the Tuesday after Labor Day. Normally I start these on Monday. This time we're going to start it on Tuesday because I'm going to be off with my family, and I hope you're off with your family too. So you really only have three options at this point. You can decide to do nothing and keep running after blogs and hoping they'll help you crack the code to funding. And we both know that that's the one-way, no refund ticket to Noville. Or you can try to build business credit on your own, and it might work. It actually might work better than anything you have been doing. But something tells me that better isn't good enough, or you wouldn't be listening to me for an hour. So you get everything that's included with the lab that gets you $5,000 to $10,000 in credit without wasting your time or leveraging your house. So you can have a business that nourishes and supports you in as little as 6 months, even if you don't have good personal credit or personal cash flow. The choice is yours. You can be like Michelle. Let's be like Michelle. Michelle.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm out of Sacramento, California. I was just sitting here and I was going through my business suite and was thinking I should say something to them because this has been a lifesaver on all levels. Just getting my LLC up and running, having advisors there to call when I need them, emailing, and they're actually emailing me back. That's fantastic. Anyway, I just wanted to do a testimonial, let you guys know that, hey, I do appreciate it. I can't wait to see all my results that I'm going to get. I can already see it right now. So it's a good difference. I know I'm going to have the money that I need. Anyway, thank you, Tom, Ryan, and everybody else.
Okay. Or you can continue on the way that you're right now. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think you're all awesome. Thanks for hanging in there with me. I know you'd probably rather be out on a sunny Friday. So you do know that there's a bigger, better, brighter, shinier side that waits you on the other side of yes. And this is the power that corporations have. And I want those Wall Street techniques to be available to Main Street. It makes me so mad that this isn't available everywhere. That's why I'm out here doing this on a Friday. And you can be the you that's at the top of your game. You're well-resourced, flexible, and you sleep soundly at night. I've said this sleep soundly, because when I was going through all that stuff with my dad and the family farm, I didn't sleep at all. Like I was a hot, stressed mess for probably 6 years. 6 years. And you can have that professional polish to your brand. That, I think, the thing that I love to see with this is when people leverage and just accelerate so much faster than they normally would. It's such a pleasure to see. And a you that has the resources that you need. And a you who's best known as a voiceover artist or an Etsy owner or real estate developer. So this is the Build Your Business Credit 21-day challenge now through Monday, whatever Monday is. One payment is $67. The early bird pricing ends Monday at midnight Pacific time. And then after that, it's $99. Love to have you in either case. I'm streaming this in a couple different places. So I've got comments. I've got some questions in both places. I'm just going to check out and see where that is at. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm here to answer them and here to make sure that you get your questions answered. So one of the questions, let me pop on over here and answer this one. All right, let me read this one. So, all right, so Jess is asking if all of this you can do without your personal credit. I think that's what you're asking, Jess. So yes. So in the very beginning, I talked about the two different kinds of credit. There's actually sort of three. So there's your personal credit, and that's what you're used to getting your mortgage, your car loans, your credit cards with. And if you set this up properly, meaning you have a business entity, you have an EIN, that kind of thing, it can be totally separate. There's the second kind of credit, which is kind of a business credit, personal hybrid. That's where you get like a Chase Inc. or a Capital One Spark card. Sometimes they report to your personal credit, sometimes they don't. But they all report to your personal credit if you default on them. And sometimes people don't mind, and they're like, yeah, I don't mind giving my personal guarantee. I really believe in this business, or I've had solid revenue. So I don't mind. That is absolutely possible and fine. We do that all the time. I showed earlier that someone had a like a 48-hour turnaround on 100 grand approval. That was with the personal guarantee. And that guy did not have the best kind of credit. So that's possible. And then the third type is this credit that I call corporate credit or business credit. That's in your EIN, your business EIN, which is like your business social security number, without a personal guarantee or without a personal credit check. The really interesting thing is when people have this built out, when they have this, when they have their business credit profile built out, they have their scores established, there are lots of lenders that require a personal guarantee, but they're going to look at your business credit. And if you don't have the basics, you don't have the right kind of address, or it looks risky because you have 5 different addresses. You know, you got you signed up for your IRS or your entity with the Secretary of State, and you use one address, and then you use your home address when you get a merchant account, and then you use, you go and you start a new entity or you move places, and all of you have like 5 different addresses. Even having 2 different addresses can be a red flag. So, I always like to think of my underwriters and people that are extending credit as 30 years older than me and completely untech savvy. So we really work in the Business Credit Lab on building your credibility so that you're controlling the narrative. So for an example of that is, some industries don't need to be on Yelp. If you are a restaurant, you need to be on Yelp, and you need to be controlling the narrative. You need to claim that Yelp profile. And I think Yelp is, they're such a racket. I use them sometimes personally to find out where I want to eat. I try to use TripAdvisor too, but they're essentially extort businesses for better ratings. So that's the game that you're playing with. You can't change the rules, but you can at least know what you're up against. Another question that just popped up is, what kind of credit do you have to have for the unsecured? Let me just read this. What kind of credit do you have to have? Nick is asking, what kind of credit do you have to have for an unsecured business line of credit? Good question. So you have to have a FICO 8-ish of 680 or more. And what that means is, there's a lot of different credit profiles. I've talked about this in some of my webinars. Like, there's the Credit Karma ones that you get on, that are the Vantage, the Equifax and TransUnion that you get on Credit Karma. Those are what's called a Vantage 3.0, and hardly any lenders use them, except, ironically enough, the SBA is using them. And they have a really heavy focus on like how much is on your credit cards, where some of the older FICO scores don't have that. They don't weigh it as much. But you have to have a FICO 8 of 680. And I want to qualify that because I hear people saying this all the time. Oh, FICO score of 680. You can't just have one card. Like, you can't have a $2,500 JCPenney card and have a credit score that's 700 and then go out and get $10,000 to $20,000 in like those unsecured business lines of credit or credit card stacking. When they say a FICO score of 680, they want you to have multiple accounts. So they want you to have multiple credit cards. If you're an authorized user, like someone has added you onto their credit cards, maybe your spouse or maybe your parents added you on to a credit card. I've seen people that have credit history from before they were born because their parents added them onto a card. That's really cool to see. If you have a credit card with good payment history and low balances, you should absolutely do that for your kids when they're getting started. You don't have to give them a card even. But that's one way that you can help boost your credit. But if you just have all authorized user accounts and like one JCPenney account for $2,500, you're not going to get a $100,000 business line of credit. So you want to have multiple cards. You want to have them under 40% balances. If you have over 40% balances, it's going to be really hard to actually get over 680. So I did a training for people that were trying to get their score higher on the EIDL loan. I did a training more about some ways that you can get the fastest credit score. That's over on my YouTube channel at YouTube/Business Credit Lab. No, it's not that yet. Oh, I don't have enough subscribers. But I'll link it. You guys are watching in a couple different places, so you're all over. But I'll link that, and you can get your hands on that. So, any other questions? Any other questions? Yes. So someone asked, it's how long is it? It's 21 days, like over 3 weeks. And how it works is I generally teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we do some sort of advanced training on Thursday. So the first week is usually personal credit, like a bonus training. And then the second week is all the different ways that you can build your business credit. And then on Friday, we usually do question and answers, where I answer questions live, and it's all live. None of it's pre-recorded. I get in there on this same software that you're seeing right now and go over all the steps. So yeah, it's all live. It's really cool. I don't know. For me, like I just decided I was done with those DIY pre-recorded courses, because that's, sometimes by the time I find it, it's like 5 years old. It's 3 years old. I just bought a Facebook ads course on challenges, like challenge funnels, essentially like how to advertise this particular challenge that I'm doing. And was like, upsell was get the Facebook ads. And I go and look, and the course hasn't been updated in 3 years. And I almost asked for my money back. I was so annoyed. But I went over their Facebook page and kind of looked through their ads and was like, oh, they're not even doing that thing they teach anymore. Funny how that works. Annoying how that works. So anyway, if you want to be there, I'd love to have you. We get started the Tuesday after Labor Day. Normally we start on Monday. businesscreditlab.com/challenge is how you can sign up. And yeah, that's what I got for you. Looks like I got all your questions. So if you have any other questions, if you're catching this later, if you're catching the replay, I'll be watching the comments. And yeah, so get in on that early bird pricing, because nobody wants to pay full price when you can pay early bird. So $67 through Monday at midnight. Last call for questions on any of the various, like I said, y'all are all over, because I'm broadcasting in a couple different places. Yeah, I'd love to see you. So early bird ends Monday, but then $99 for the rest of the week. And Tuesday after Labor Day, businesscreditlab.com/challenge. Oh yeah, I just made it show up on the screen like 30 minutes after I planned to. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Tag me, comment with any questions, and take care.